Hi, it's Lee, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. Tesla is the future of EVs. No one else can make enough, no one else can make them profitably, no one else can scale them up, and no one else can generate enough demand. Right now, Tesla is the only company that has a chance of making the most popular method of compulsion for a vehicle to the mainstream. Okay, possibly BYD are around break even or making only a minor loss, and if you use statistics to lie, you can even say they're more popular than Teslas, as they sell more EVs in China. Although Tesla make about the same amount in China, Tesla exports more. Oh, and then you remove all of BYD's hybrids and add in the fact that BYD achieved this much demand with about 10 passenger vehicles compared to Tesla's 2. And of course, BYD had to sell at a lower price point to get this much demand. Then it still looks like Tesla is the future of EVs, not BYD. Like I said, Tesla is achieving its popularity so far with just 2 models. Yes, the S and X as well, but they're very niche. Tesla is about to launch its next model though, in a new class of vehicle, entering the electric pickup truck market, where there is no competition. Okay, sure, Tesla wasn't first to market, but the current models make such a huge loss with every vehicle they sell, it's hardly a concern for Tesla. Besides, Tesla aren't exactly making a pickup truck, they're making a Cybertruck. I mean, imagine being in a scenario where you have competition that, when attempted to increase their output, would result in even more dramatic loss that cannot be sustained with supplemental profits or cash reserves. Tesla Cybertruck will have no competition in a sense too, in a few ways. This car will be the most produced electric vehicle that offers over 330 miles of range. Okay, I'm working on the assumption here that eventually, when ramped, the Cybertruck might be on a run rate of about 350,000 units a year, and perhaps at least half of them might have a range more than 330 miles. But even if it was about a fifth of them only with that much range, I would still make the Cybertruck the most produced electric vehicle that offers over 330 miles of range. It's an interesting thought. Look at the quantities Lucid and Rivian are hitting. Not even close. You see, Tesla has the best drivetrain out of all the EVs, resulting in more range and performance from the same size battery compared to everyone else. Except Tesla's batteries are also better and have higher energy density. In other words, Tesla can get more range in vehicles, requiring less weight to do so. The new EV battleground for the US is the electric pickup truck. The best-selling vehicles are pickup trucks, and so far, Tesla has become the best-selling in its other categories. So can it also become the best-selling pickup truck too? We're talking nearly 1 million units a year if so. Going by Tesla's track record, there's an argument to make that this could be the case. Not only that, looking at the number of pre-orders for this vehicle too. Is Tesla doing some major sandbagging as to just how successful this truck may be? Who can say? But either way, it won't happen overnight. Tesla is short on cells and batteries for starters, and it also looks like a very complex production line, potentially at least. On the other hand, in some ways it might be the most simple production Tesla have ever had. The first vehicle designed around gigacastings, and the fact there isn't even a paint shop. Rivian managed to get 400 miles of range using 2170 cells, and the new Cyber cells are just as energy dense as that. Although Rivian achieved this by double layering the cells and using a massive 180 kilowatt hour battery. But if you think that's crazy, then the Hummer has 212 kilowatt hours and still only gets 319 miles of range. Yes, GM are in serious trouble when it comes to EVs, let alone the lack of units they actually have produced to date. Not that Rivian have done anything great either, given the fact they lose over $100,000 per EV they sell. The Cybertruck is supposedly lighter than the Rivian, and I'm hoping could get 400 miles with a 150 kilowatt-hour battery. However, perhaps the best-selling Cybertruck might be a dual motor with about 330 miles of range and maybe a 120 kilowatt-hour battery. Elon says that they will likely make around 350,000 of them a year. However, if things go well, it won't reach this run rate until sometime in 2025. It'll be a slow ramp either way, and to be honest, I think it unlikely that the factory could do more than 350,000. It is a big car, but maybe I'm wrong, and with these new techniques, it might be twice that, which would take it close to the best-selling pickup truck in the US. However, the thing is that perhaps the typical pickup driver in the US isn't really the typical target market for electric vehicles. Maybe they're more mutually exclusive. And the Cybertruck is appealing to a new demographic also though. Many who were never previously considering buying a pickup truck. So who can say? I've never wanted a pickup truck before, but for some reason I really want a Cybertruck. It's an insane vehicle with tons of storage that you can lock up safe and secure, 6 seats, bulletproof, etc. Lots of insane features. and likely some crazy accessories to follow. It is a lifestyle vehicle. I think there'll be a demand for longer range versions, maybe all the way up to 500 miles, especially if people need to tow. This vehicle offers more than just a pickup truck to work. It unlocks a new lifestyle, similar to how RVs offer a unique lifestyle. The Cybertruck is somewhere in between. Anyway, I digressed and got caught up with the Cybertruck. It's hard not to, as it's always fun to talk about. But the Cybertruck is only a small segment of the future of EVs. And as we've just established, it looks like Tesla is solely going to dictate the future of this industry. However, if Cybertruck is only around 350,000 units a year, it's not a major impact on the overall ICE market. It won't be until Tesla start with Gen 3 until we start seeing some serious impact. With Elon saying an expected 5 million units a year from the next two models, that makes a huge difference. Nearly 4 times the current production. 4 times. That is a big difference. Imagine if Apple had more phones to bring out, that would quadruple sales. And imagine if the profit margins of these new phones were twice as high. This is what we're dealing with as far as EV potential is concerned for Tesla. Now, when Tesla starts shooting up to this number of units, it's going to be so incredibly hard for anyone else to get close. This is a step change in Tesla's production. Some legacy companies are aiming for 1 to 2 million units a year by around the same period, and when all their cell and battery factories start to come online. But I really don't know how they're going to make that many electric vehicles on their production lines. Then how are they going to find enough customers to buy them? And then if they did find enough customers to buy them, how will they have enough capital to cover all the losses they must be into at this rate? The numbers are not adding up, unless they end up using these batteries to go the hybrid route, which gets the same level of tax credit in the US. Anyway, I think there is a certain limit, whether it's supply, demand, resources, or financials, that all legacy will face. As for China, they'll run out of demand by saturating the variety of models they offer and can't offer larger cars due to LFP cells not having enough energy density. The same for longer range vehicles. Legacy may get close to parity against their ICE cars, offering around 300 miles of range. This is a price point obviously their consumers are willing to pay, and with potential reduction in production costs, economies of scale, subsidies and tax credits, Legacy could perhaps compete with their own ICE offering, although I'm not entirely sure if there's any room left for them to have some profit. Perhaps they'll have to adopt the Tesla FSD business model in any hope of turning a profit with EVs. This really only leaves Tesla to do any serious numbers out of all OEMs. And like Elon said, 5 million units a year from the next two models. Perhaps 3 million compacts and 2 million vans, but this number doesn't resonate that well with the Tesla investor community. If Tesla can sell 2 million Model Ys a year, then surely we would expect a lot more sales from a car that might cost $25,000. And then after that, we would wonder, what will be the next models that take us to 20 million? A lot of people before expected the compact to be more like 10 million units a year, unless Tesla just keep making their own robotaxis. Anyway, it really looks like Tesla are here to dictate the future of EVs and find out ways of getting the costs down. Hopefully in a simple enough way that it can actually be replicated by the competition. For example, if Gen 3 manufacturing truly can produce an EV at half the cost of a Model 3, then maybe this is something all other EV manufacturers can follow. The competition all sound like they're waiting for some miracle with battery and cells, for the prices to drop, but perhaps that won't be the case, at least not to the level they're hoping. They're waiting or needing some sort of breakthrough in the industry, and perhaps it will instead be more to do with manufacturing itself, using the unboxed parallel production line perhaps. No one else can come for Tesla. Yes, it looked like a few were trying to catch up for a while, like Volkswagen, but eventually they hit plateaus. And as their units got to a larger size, it becomes a lot harder to expand from there due to there not being enough cells. It being so much harder to manufacture EVs, demand saturates as they run out of models for various market segments, and the fact they start to lose some serious amounts of money, whereas Tesla make models that sell profitably in the millions. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.